Yes, welcome back. On the show with me are people I had last week. I have Adamu Garba II on my left. Welcome to Seriously Speaking again.
Thank you.
I hope you're not upset I kept you back.
At all.
And then on my right, I have Mr. Kingsley Ighalo. Thank you for staying back. Because I was so excited by the fact that you agreed that, you know, we must use this as an opportunity to educate Nigerians. Quite sincerely, we all want to do what's right by us. Most of the time, we think so. Both of you want to do what's right by you. That's why you have declared intention to run. But beyond all of that, I need you to explain to me certain things. One thing I would like to discuss, first of all, what do you think is the role of the ordinary voter in ensuring that things go right? We just celebrated Democracy Day. What's the role of the ordinary voter that we haven't taken seriously, given your experience on the field, both as professionals and then, of course, as people who intend to at least try to lead this country? Let me start with you, Adamu.
What I believe the role of voters is that they are the kingmakers. The biggest problem we have in this country is lack of understanding the blessings associated with democracy. Democracy is a big blessing that have come to Nigeria, transferring power, the change in governance to the hands of the ordinary people in the street. So it's, to me, just downplaying this our power that is giving us the kind of leadership that we are getting in this country. If you check the history of voting in 2015 election that presented the current government, you have 29 million people out of over 170 million people as at then. Now, how do you imagine only 29 million people determining and defining the collective destinies of over 170 million people simply because we gave up on our destinies, we gave up on our responsibilities? So I see a Nigerian voter who refused to participate in voting process as much culprit as the damages that we are getting in this country. Because if you don't participate in voting process, you indirectly participate in the support of the damages that is happening to the country.
So the point is, if you don't participate, then don't complain.
They don't complain.
What do you think?
Well, I agree. I mean, the voter, the most powerful office in Nigeria is the office of the citizen.
It's only one vote for me.
Yes, but when you if every citizen understands that his or her vote is the most powerful thing, and you multiply that by the millions, that's how you can have progress. That's how you can have change. The reason Nigeria is where it is today is that the citizens have abdicated their own responsibility, using various excuses. We are poor, so the politicians come around every 4 years and give us stomach infrastructure. So we take the stomach infrastructure, go to the toilet, but nothing changes. Every 4 years, it's the same story. We are hoping that in 2019,
but can you really
this
blame
will change.
Nigerians? Can you really blame Nigerians for being that way?
You can't, but you can't blame them, but they need to understand that only they can take themselves out of what is happening. You see what I'm saying? They can take those inducements, but don't vote according to those inducements. We know that people are poor, but don't sell your destiny for a mess of porridge.
That's true. I agree with him, because if you check World Economic Forum statistics around trust in politicians, when a survey was conducted for 137 countries, Nigeria was ranked at number 137, ahead of Yemen, Somalia.
So we don't trust our politicians?
We don't trust politicians, so you don't trust the process. But the reason why you don't participate is not just because you don't trust the process, it's because you decided to abdicate your responsibility in trusting the process. We have an INEC that is almost completely independent today. Now, the voting process is completely electronic.
That's questionable, though.
Yes.
Some people won't believe INEC is completely independent.
I agree with you, but I want to believe that, because it is when we have some assertions and conspiracy belief that is probably giving them the power to do whatever they think, because they believe already that we took them, that they are not independent. They are independent. That's why we need to push for it. And we have to make sure that the people working in INEC also understand their responsibility is primarily to their great-grandchildren.
Mr. Ighalo, I wonder if you agree about the transparency
I
of
think
the process.
INEC is presumed to be independent.
Like he says, we should claim it.
Whether it is actually independent or not remains to be demonstrated. We have reasons to be worried. When you see underage voters, underage people being registered to vote in some parts of the country, when you read reports of people who are not nationals of Nigeria coming in to be registered to vote, you wonder what is actually going on. These things need to be investigated, and INEC has a duty to prove to Nigerians that it is a truly independent umpire.
Adam, I would like you to comment on that. This question of INEC being independent or not, and irregularities that could happen if INEC is not responsible. how do ordinary citizens, INEC is just a body. Can't ordinary citizens do something? Who are these underage voters that are being registered?
That is the problem. You see, if you showed yourself is conspiracy, you always have this dark shield blocking you from doing the right thing. You know, and those things dampen our spirit to push forward to go and do the right thing. Now, if we believe that probably there are some other people that are being favored for certain thing, it will naturally dampen our spirit and believe, we will already believe that this is the outcome. So there's nothing we can do. It's not that there's nothing we can do. We can do something. That you are one vote, go and do it.
Go and do it. Yes.
Go and do it. Let every other person go and vote. Absolutely. And then they will see if there's any underage voter in the street or somebody from any other country that can outweigh them. What's the total number of people in Niger? What's the total number of people in Chad? What's the total number of people in Togo?
Why are people showing up for elections?
Nevertheless, I agree with Adamu that citizens must, in every circumstance, not allow themselves to be, their spirit to be dampened so that you don't go and vote. No, don't surrender. Don't surrender your right. Go and vote. If 50, 60, 70 million Nigerians go and vote, I don't think you can import anybody you like from anywhere. You can register any underage child, but we must still face the fact that it is structural election rigging for underage voters to be registering anywhere in the country, or from anybody to be importing anybody from anywhere. We shouldn't ignore it just because we have a positive spirit. So we should have a positive spirit and still investigate these allegations.
So I just wonder, though, running up to 2019, do we see things being different? And if things can be different, what should we do? Being different from what has been happening before, voter apathy.
In fact, things are going to be sometimes, maybe you can say, mysteriously different.
I believe
because
so.
Are you being hopeful or
not just hopeful, but this is practical. People have known the consequences of the damages that happened to them between 2015 and 2019 or 2018 now, just within 3 years. Wrong choice, wrong leadership.
That's your perception.
Damages.
That's your perception.
Yes, that's my perception.
Yes, that's your perception.
But I believe it's the perception of almost all Nigerians. Just look at somebody like me who is having a thriving business, frustrated with the system and wanting to do something. Look at somebody like Mr. Kingsley.
What's the guarantee that you just also want to have power just to be there?
The target
it's a question.
No. People will always say that. Yeah. But what you need to do is, when you have a country where you have thousands of politicians that is small, naturally it's something we need to accept. But what should guide you in leadership is your conscience. You don't worry about what the world is thinking around what you want to do. You should worry about what is primarily driving you. If what is driving you is your moral consciousness to advance the cause of common humanity and bring people together and eliminate poverty and then remove the insecurity.
That is if you're running.
And then that's fine.
What if from the other side? That's if you're running, yeah. Right? What if you're not running? I'm not running for any office.
Let me say this. Every citizen has a duty to participate in the process of the transformation of our country. That duty can be exercised in several ways. Number one, vote. Number one, vote. Number two, run for office if you feel you're qualified and that you can bring something. Some people have had the kind of experience that lends them to leadership. And it's quite okay for them to put themselves forward. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean that if you're not the president, you cannot do anything. Mm-hmm. No, that's wrong. You don't have to be president to do something, but there's something unique the president can do. And if the right person becomes the president, then the society changes for the better.
Okay, what brings to the question, I mean, both of you are interested. What if neither of you become president?
We'll continue. We will continue to make sure that Nigeria becomes the greatest nation in the world, as we have been doing already. Somebody like me cannot start from Almaji.
Okay, that's you. You're talking to yourself.
Yes. Yeah, generally, I believe Mr. Kingsley will continue. And I believe the greatness you are doing now is part of the process. You put us on screen, just to talk to Nigerians without nothing, without any payment, like the other media used to do. So this is a process too. You are also doing it. So it's not something that we can give up in 2019. Nigeria will be here for X, Y, Z. We will remain and we'll do it.
So we shall contribute our quota, which means with the question, I will just go straight. You mentioned you being on this show. Yes. I wonder what you think the role of the media is. How can we help this system to achieve the goals?
What the media should do is that the media should understand its responsibility to hold the government accountable.
Government?
Oh, yes. The media should continue to highlight any mistakes, any weaknesses, any incompetence, they should highlight it.
And promote any successes too.
And promote successes as well. The media should get into the mindset of we're a developing country and we need development journalism. We don't need just sensational headlines. We need our citizens to be educated by the media because all the citizens consume information from the media. So the media should take on a far more educational role than it is currently playing.
But quite sincerely, I mean, the media also has to pay its bills. You know,
sure.
Abroad, there's campaign and there's...
Absolutely, absolutely.
But there are enough commercial concerns that pay the bills of the media.
Yes, I agree with that. And I also agreed with the fact that medias actually, in some cases, they made these leaders. Because if you check what happened during the 2015 election, what grossly supported the APC government is the media. So the media actually have a great role in making the country go for the better. And we understand that the media also requires some things to pay some bills. It's very, very important. But the media, as much as possible, needs to be neutral in carrying out its message. It shouldn't be afraid of...
How would you define neutrality?
To me, the definition of neutrality is allowing... It's freedom of speech. Just
allowing different voices.
Let people talk. That's how it is. So, and I believe also, like in Nigeria, we are seriously downplaying the role of media. I believe a media is a weapon, right, that is usually fought when you want to fight war with media, you don't use bloodshed, but you succeed. Like in advanced countries, you will see media and intelligence agencies working together. I had a media panel yesterday, I talked about that. So what we need to do is to have a collective media responsibility in making sure that we have the right thing. The media have a lot of money to make outside government when they have the economy moving well.
Well, let's pray. We do know that the economy is not at its best yet, yes. Potential. I'll take a break. I must take a break and I return. And when I come back, I want to talk about certain issues that are burning around here. Security and also the idea of party politics. I'll be right back.